Welcome back to another episode of NBA by Jellyman, episode 12. So this time we've got NBA Week 10 review, team and player consistencies once again, deep dive into the best assist players in the league this week, and then also Week 11 preview, so the upcoming week preview. So topic 1 will be, once again, the Sports Tips by Jellyman example week. So we actually posted up on Instagram throughout the week what an entire week looked like, the ups, the downs, the highlighter recommendations, all that jazz. And then topic 2 is the Week 10 review, so winners, losers, highlighted stats as per usual. Topic 3, player and team consistencies. Topic 4, deep dive into the best assist players in the league, so our best passes in the league. And then topic 5, NBA Week 11 preview. But we will jump into it. So we've got the example week, so week stretching from the 14th of the 12th to the 20th of the 12th. So we had plus 23.57 units throughout the week period. Highlighter recommendations included Charlotte Hornets money line at 475, which was a good pick. Giannis 35 plus points and 10 plus rebounds for $4. The Nuggets with Aaron Gordon 15 plus points, with also the Lakers and Russ 7 plus assists. That was $4.02 for 2 units. The 76ers minus 7.5 total points over 250. 2 units on that one. The Utah Jazz with Malik Beasley 15 plus points, 340 for 1.5 units, and Morant at a valuable 10 plus assists for 345, and last but not least 30 plus points for your big guys Embiid, Giannis, and Zion, 25 plus points, 352. That ended the week with plus 23.57. How the week actually looked in total, so kicking off with Wednesday the 14th was actually plus 3.08 units. Thursday was a minus day, but minus 0.34 units. Friday the 16th of the 12th was plus 9.43 units. Saturday was a negative day, minus 4.52 units. Sunday plus 0.17 units. And then Monday and Tuesday were big, plus 7.24 units on the Monday, plus 8.50 units on the Tuesday. So that's the week in total. Obviously ups, downs, always going to happen. We can't control the results, just obviously can control the process we get to those tips anyway. But moving into topic 2, so that's obviously topic 1. If you'd like to actually be sent any sort of emails that were sent across the last week for any of those specific days, see which ones win, which ones won, which ones lost, feel free to reach out. Topic 2, so week 10 review, or I guess in review. Get this one up here. So heading back to the Tuesday the 20th. So we had Utah Jazz got beaten by the Cavaliers 122-99. Markkanen had 24, Jarrett Allen 20 points and 11 rebounds. The Raptors got beaten in overtime by the 76ers 104-101, but Toronto looked better than they had been. Siakam had 38 points, 15 rebounds and 6 assists. Embiid had 28 points. The Magic and the Hawks beat them by 1 point, 126-125 in a high-scoring game. Young had 37 points and 13 assists. Fultz had a really good game, 24, 6 rebounds and 9 assists. The Spurs beat the Rockets 124-105. Not too much to argue about in that one. The Wolves beat the Mavericks in Minnesota. Edwards had 27, 13 and 9, an almost triple-double for him there. The Bucks beat the Pelicans in New Orleans. Giannis had 42 points and 10 rebounds. Jonas Valanciunas had 37 points and 18 rebounds, so 2 bigs going at it there. The Thunder beat the Blazers 123-121 for the first time in that week. SGA had 35 points. Lillard had 28 points. The Suns beat the Lakers. The Lakers didn't have anyone playing. Paul had 28 points and 8 assists. Schroeder had 30 points. And the Hornets beat the Kings in Sacramento, which was our pick, as we mentioned, 475, 125-119. Ball had 23 points and 12 assists. Sabonis, 28 points, 23 rebounds, and 7 assists as well. So that was Tuesday's game, moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday saw the Jazz beat the Pistons. Markkanen had 38 and went off from 3. I think he had 9 plus made threes. The Bulls beat the Heat in Miami, 113-103. Vucevic had 29 points and 12 rebounds. Bam had 27, 12 and 6. The Knicks thrashed the Warriors 132-94. Quickly 22 points. Paul actually had 26 points for Golden State. And the Wizards beat the Suns in Phoenix. We saw that video of Ayton arguing with Coach Monty. He actually had 30 points and 13 rebounds, so maybe it was about him not being drawn up a play towards the back end of the game. Who knows? Kuzma had 29, 6 and 6 there. And the Nuggets beat the Grizzlies in Denver. Ja had 35 points, 10 assists. Jokic a triple-double, 13, 13, and 13. Thursday's games, we saw the Cavs beat the Bucks. Giannis still had 45 points and 14 rebounds, but had no help. Mitchell had 36 points. The Sixers thrashed the Pistons. Embiid 22, 10, and 6. The Bulls beat the Hawks on the buzzer. Flip around from last time. AJ Griffin hit that miracle shot to beat the Bulls on the buzzer. The Bulls beat the Hawks on the buzzer with DeSumo hitting that magical shot. It's funny how basketball works. DeRozan had 28 points. Young had 34 points in that one. The Pacers beat the Celtics in Boston. They were up by plus 20 in this one. They were thrashing them at halftime. Tatum had 41 points. Halliburton had 33 points and 8 assists. And a few clutch buckets towards the end of the game. The Nets thrashed the Warriors 143 to 113. Durant had 23. Wiseman had 30 points. Raptors and the Knicks. The Raptors beat the Knicks in New York to end their win streak. Siakam had 52 points, 9 rebounds and 7 assists. Randall had 30 points and 13 rebounds. The Magic beat the Rockets. Benchero 23 points and 13 rebounds. Porter Jr. 31 points. The Mavericks beat the Wolves in Minnesota. Doncic had 25, 9 and 10. Gobert had 19 and 15. The Thunder beat the Blazers for the second time. Lillard was defended well by Dort. SGA had another 27 points and a few clutch buckets towards the end of that game. And the Kings beat the Lakers. Sabonis 13, 21 and 12. Another huge game. LeBron another 30-point game with 31 points and 11 assists. And the Clippers beat the Hornets at home. Ball had 25, 11 and 12. George had 22, 8 and 8 there. That was Thursday's game. Moving on to Friday. So the Pelicans beat the Spurs. CJ McCollum had 40 points. The Jazz beat the Wizards 120 to 112. Clarkson had 23 and Beal had 30. That was all for Friday's games, just 2 games there. Saturday's games, we had the Magic beat the Spurs, thrashed the Spurs actually. Cole Anthony almost had a triple-double, 23, 10 and 9. The Sixers beat the Clippers. Embiid had 44 points. The Sixers won 119 to 114. Harden had 21 assists in that one, which we've covered off on a few things now, but if you haven't listened to that, Harden had 21 assists, that's right, against the Clippers. The Hawks beat the Pistons 130 to 105. The Celtics beat the Timberwolves 121 to 109. Jaylen Brown had 36 points and 7 rebounds. Edwards had 30 and 6. The Nets beat the Bucks. Giannis had 26, 13 and 7. Claxton also had a big game as well. The Raptors beat the Cavs in Cleveland, so 2 wins in a row for the Raptors, built on defense. Barnes had 25 points and 10 rebounds. The Bulls beat the Knicks on the buzzer with DeRozan, 25, 7 and 10. Barrett had 44 points, already sort of touched on that one. The Pacers beat the Heat in Miami. Halliburton 43 points and the game winner. Mavericks 112 to 106. Doncic 50 points, 8 rebounds and 10 assists. The Pelicans beat the Thunder 128 to 125 in overtime with no players and on a back-to-back. That shouldn't have been lost by OKC. SGA 44, 10 and 6. The Nuggets beat the Blazers 120 to 107 in Denver. Lillard had 34 points. Jokic had 29 points. And the Grizzlies smacked the Suns at home in Phoenix 125 to 100. The Wizards actually beat the Kings in Sacramento. The Wizards look good with Rui Hachimura back and the full lineup with obviously Beal, Kuzma and KP. So we'll see if they can sort of maybe jump back up the standings. They're at 13 and 21 at the moment. Maybe with a full squad they can do some damage towards the second half of the season. Sabonis had 20, 15 and 10 in that one. Kuzma had 32 points and he's getting better and better every game. The Hornets, they beat the Lakers 134 to 130. PG had 24 points. LeBron James 34 points and 8 assists. That pretty much sums it up because obviously we're shooting this on Sunday the 25th, which means tomorrow's games, the Boxing Day games, and there's no games on today. So we'll jump into topic number 3, which is the player and team consistencies. As always, we will put these in the show notes as well. So it'll sort of show off the show notes there and say, hey, yep, here's everything, copy and paste it for the week, all the rest. But we'll jump into it. The Atlanta Hawks. So Trae Young, 26 plus points in his last 4 games and 9 plus assists in 10 of his last 12 games. The Hawks have actually won 3 of their last 4 games and 230 plus total points in 7 of their last 8 games. So a lot of offense, not much defense in the Hawks games. The Celtics, Tatum's had 30 plus points in his last 4 games, hoping obviously on Boxing Day another 30 plus point performance. Jaylen Brown, 24 plus points in 6 of his last 8 games. Jaylen Brown also 7 plus rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games, and Smart 6 plus assists in his last 4 games. Team consistency there, the Celtics have lost 5 of their last 7 games, but obviously hoping to turn that around after that Minnesota win, and then also playing the Bucks tomorrow on Boxing Day. The Brooklyn Nets, so we've got Simmons, 8+ assists in his last 3 games, a couple of quiet games for Durant, but that's because they haven't really needed him to shine because they've blown out teams or had a good lead on teams with a lot of their shooters shooting really well, hence the amount of assists Simmons has there. So the Nets, they've won their last 8 games, won their last 4 road games, won their last 4 home games, so a nice split there, playing well at home and on the road. Charlotte Hornets, Ball had 23 plus points in his last 6 games, so since returning back from injury, he's been killing it. Shooting that long ball, his assists, everything like that. I don't know why they should be giving him the ball a lot more, watching their games. And then also for the Hornets, 230 plus total points in their last 5 games as well. So a lot of offense and a lot of defense in Charlotte's games. Chicago Bulls, DeRozan, 25 plus points in 7 of his last 9 games. Levine, 21 plus points in 6 of his last 7 games. And Vooch, 20 plus points in his last 4 games. And there's actually a stat rolling around in the last 3 games. It's the first time since a long time for the Chicago Bulls that 3 players have scored 20 plus points consistently in 3 games, which turns out, team consistencies, the Bulls have won their last 3 games. So those 3 guys score consistently and score well, they win, but it hasn't been happening as much as it should have been earlier in the season. Cleveland Cavaliers, they've won 5 of the last 6 games, obviously lost their last game against the Raptors, but they've been consistent, they've been playing well. The Denver Nuggets, Jokic, 25 plus points in 6 of his last 7 games and 10 plus assists in his last 3 games. He's jumped himself into that MVP conversation once again. And the Nuggets have won 6 of their last 7 games, so, look, Jokic is scoring, he's assisting, they're winning games. It's a simple formula. Indiana Pacers, team consistency there. Pacers have actually, the last 7 games, sorry, I'll speak English here. Pacers' last 7 games have been within 6 points or less, so they've been playing a lot of close games of late. So looking at the Pacers plus line, or the, I think it's a try bet, where you can sort of go 6 points or less against closer teams there for Indiana. The LA Clippers, Paul George, 22 plus points in 5 of his last 6 games. Leonard, 19 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games. A few big performances there for Leonard as well. Looking at games he can get going and get some easy buckets there. The Lakers, James, 30 plus points in his last 6 games, hasn't lost a touch. And Westbrook, 7 plus assists in 5 of his last 6 games. Team consistency for the Lakers, they've lost their last 3 games and allowed 130 plus points in their last 3 games. So defense, non-existent, they're losing games, simple as that. Memphis Grizzlies, Morant, 10 plus assists in 6 of his last 7 games. So obviously having a full complement of players back now, plenty more assists coming from Morant, but when he scores, he'll need to score. Grizzlies have won 8 of the last 10 games as well. So, Morant assisting, their players coming back, winning games. A lot of them have been at home though, but hopefully they can snag a few on the road. Miami Heat, Butler, 20 plus points in his last 6 games there. Minnesota Timberwolves, Edwards, 23 plus points in his last 4 games. Edwards, 4 plus rebounds and 4 plus assists in his last 5 games, so doing a bit of everything. And D'Angelo Russell, 8 plus assists in 4 of his last 5 games as well. The Pelicans, obviously Zion out with COVID at the moment, but CJ has stepped into place, 27 plus points in 5 of his last 7 games, and then 8 plus assists in his last 4 games as well. The New York Knicks, Randall, 25 plus points in 7 of his last 9 games and 12 plus rebounds in his last 6 games. And then RJ Barrett, 24 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games there as well. The OKC, so Oklahoma City Thunder, SGA, 35 plus points in 4 of his last 6 games, and in the other games he hasn't scored well in. It's been like 27 and 26 points, so it's still unreal. And then Giddey, 10 plus rebounds in 5 of his last 7 games. And OKC's last 8 games have been within 8 points or less, so a lot of close games for them as well. So looking once again at their try bet or their plus line in a lot of close games. They're also playing really well at home with the depth they have and the shooting they have there. Orlando Magic, Wagner, 19 plus points in 7 of his last 8 games, and the Magic have actually won 8 of their last 9 games, which has gone super under the radar there. As they lost a lot of games in a row. The Blazers, Lillard, 25 plus points in 7 of his last 9 games, and then also 6 plus assists in his last 4 games, so doing a bit of everything for his squad there, but they haven't been winning. They've actually lost 4 of their last 5 games. A lot of them have been on the road, but they played well on the road early in the season, but it's from defense. They're not defending well. We saw last game with the Nuggets, they just didn't defend well enough. The Sacramento Kings, Sabonis, 13 plus rebounds in his last 5 games and 7 plus assists also in his last 5 games. he is dominating. Look at him for triple doubles as well. Had a triple double in his last two games, and it pays about $5 on Bet365. It might have gone down again because he's had 2 in a row, but it's a good one to watch against teams that obviously score a lot of the ball or get scored on a lot. It's a bonus to have a lot of assists, and he gets his rebounds and points quite easily as well. The Raptors, Siakam, a big week, 26 plus points in his last 4 games, 7 plus rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games. And then the Jazz, Clarkson, 21 plus points. Clarkson and Markin actually 21 plus points each in 4 of their last 5 games. Last but not least, the Wizards, Beal, 24 plus points in his last 4 games. And Kyle Kuzma, 21 plus points in 5 of his last 6 games there. Now a deep dive, topic 4, into the best assist players in the league. So I've got Tyrese Halliburton, Trae Young, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, and James Harden. Obviously some of the best passers, best playmakers, but also best scorers in the league. So Halliburton actually averages 10.5 assists a game this season. And we've sort of touched on him a few times, but when the shooters are shooting well around him, he often obviously assists really well. So it's all about the shooters around him and them getting open shots. So looking at Halliburton's assist over, it's just a matter of him driving and kicking the ball, but he's been scoring a lot more of late as well. But that's a bit on Tyrese. Trae Young, his usage rate is up once again, obviously with DeJounte Murray coming back, but they sort of don't share the court often. But Trae Young obviously just passing the ball is unreal. When Capella plays, that's when his assists really go up. Obviously those lobs and runs to the rim, super suitable there for Trae. He's averaging 9.9 assists this season. Jokic averaging 9.3 assists. We've already touched on him a bit, but obviously Porter Jr. being back, Murray around him, Gordon diving to the hoop, and you've got KCP and Brown also shooting the 3 ball really well. So, a lot of attention goes to Jokic. He makes the correct pass, and then they score quite easily from jump shots or right at the ring as well. So that's a bit on Nikola. Luka, averaging 8.7 assists. Now, once again, him at home, look at his assist over because the shooters shoot better. It's as simple as that. Same as defense is better at home. He then gets out in transition. He then gets easy assists. It's a simple formula. Him on the road has to score a lot more because his players aren't scoring, or players around him aren't scoring as well. So that's a bit about Luka. Morant, we've already touched on him, but those lob threats at the rim. So you got Jackson Jr., you got Clark, and then you got Adams. But then also you get your Bane and Brooks coming back, and then also Jackson Jr. likes to shoot the 3 as well. So if the attention goes to Jar through the paint, he then dishes out Jackson Jr., Brooks, Bane, you name them. They can all make shots from deep or at the ring as well through 1 or 2 dribbles from Jar. Last but not least, James Harden, already mentioned 21 assist game, but he's averaging 10.9 assists. He's not actually viable for the assist tally at the moment because of the amount of games he's played, but averaging 10.9 assists, so he would be leading the league. And with, I guess, James there, him and Joel are starting to figure it out. They haven't played a lot of games together, and there's been, I guess, criticism about how they work as a 1v1, so playing isolation ball with themselves, whereas last game, perfect example of the Clippers, they used each other well. And obviously you saw James' assists, you saw Embiid's points, and they won. So if they can use each other more and more throughout the season, look at James's assist to continue to stay around that sort of 10.9, 12 mark consistently. But that's topic 4, so deep dive. Topic 5 is the Week 10 preview. So Tuesday, we've got the Nets at the Cavs and the Wolves at the Heat are 2 games to watch for us. Nets and the Cavs is obviously an interesting one because, KD, Kyrie playing Mitchell, Garland, and then the bigs of the Cavs as well. But the Nets have a lot of mid-range scoring, which doesn't suit the Cavs. Similar to how Mitchell scores down the other end, those mid-range jumpers, that's where the Cavs could get beaten in that one. And the Wolves at the Heat is always an interesting one. Obviously, Jimmy Butler playing against Minnesota. Unfortunately, Cat isn't playing, but there's a few guys there still. Wednesday's games, ones to watch, the Sixers at the Wizards. As we said, the Wizards are interesting to watch at the moment because they've got their players back. So they're an interesting one. Their plus line always looks good, especially at home. Clippers at the Raptors. Kawhi returns to Toronto, always a sight. The Suns at the Grizzlies. Obviously, the Grizzlies smacked the Suns in Phoenix. So I wouldn't be surprised that might happen again in Memphis. The Knicks at the Mavs. So obviously, Randall Brunson returning to Dallas. Quite an interesting matchup there. Obviously, Luka playing New York is always a good sign. Always a good sight. The Nuggets at the Kings. So seeing the Kings, are they legit or not? Can Denver play away? We'll see in that one. Thursday's game, Suns at the Wizards. As we said, the Wizards are an interesting watch at the moment because maybe they're climbing back up the standings because of the players they've got back. The Lakers at the Heat, so LeBron returns to Miami. The Bucks, the Bulls. The Bulls have got a bit of a win streak going on, so can they potentially beat the Bucks at home? In Chicago. Can Milwaukee maybe go in there and improve their road record of late? Next is the Wolves at the Pelicans, and then the Nuggets and the Kings round 2. So once again, the Nuggets and the Kings get 2 shots at each other. Will be interesting to watch there. Friday's games, the Cavs at the Pacers. So the Pacers are in that middle of the pack and quite interesting there. The Cavs also away aren't great. The Clippers at the Celtics. So the 2 Jays versus Leonard and Paul George. Always an interesting matchup, offense versus defense. Grizzlies at the Raptors, so Ja heads into Toronto. Toronto's been playing better of late. Saturday's games, the Suns at the Raptors, always interesting when Phoenix go into Toronto. The Wolves at the Bucks, 76ers at the Pelicans, Blazers at the Warriors, Jazz at the Kings. Sunday's games, see the Cavs at the Bulls, Pelicans at the Grizzlies, Heat at the Jazz. And then Monday, we like to see Wizards at the Bucks and Celtics at the Nuggets. There's only 3 games on that Monday slate. Anyway, that is all for this week. Feel free to like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or your good podcasting apps. Feel free to reach out if you'd like me to send across those stats that I've sort of talked about today. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas. Enjoy the rest of your holiday period. Thank you for listening in once again.